Hello everyone, good afternoon. I'm the admissions tutor and the undergraduate courses director for digital media. I've put some links there at the bottom if you want to explore our courses and our division in your own time and look at some student work. If you can move to the next slide, please, Pius. So we have a range of strengths within digital media, which you might see as why to choose our courses. So we have a quite a unique mix on creative design and digital technology being combined, which if you look around at other courses at universities in the UK, you will find that there is different balances of these things. Some are entirely focused on design, some are entirely focused on technology, and some mix the two. But we are really integrating those two things together. So we see that as quite a unique angle to our courses, and we're very focused on doing things. So as much as we teach you about the theory behind the courses, we're very focused on getting you to actually use that to create things, to build portfolios of work that you can show to employers and use to gain employment, and also to do freelance work. And we've got a lot of experience in doing this. Our original digital media undergraduate courses were one of the first of their kind in the UK, and we've been refining those and building on those to keep up with new trends and new design techniques. So we've been doing that for quite some time. Another positive aspect to our courses, which is also quite a unique selling point for us, is that we have the Screen Skills Select accreditation. So that means they are fully accredited and industry recognized by Screen Skills. And if you're not familiar with Screen Skills, they're really the main body for the visual creative industries in the UK. They work a lot with the British Film Institute and other organizations. And really, having gone through the accreditation process and having them checked our courses and scrutinized them in depth, it gives you that kind of certification that they are best suited for preparing you for a creative industries career. Now, on top of that, we also have an external advisory panel. So we've got over 20 companies, ranging from big companies like IBM to smaller kind of visual effects and design agencies that we work with, that give feedback to us on our courses, so that we make sure that everything that we do is relevant to employers. We're kept up to date with that, and they tell us about kind of new developments in their field, what they're looking for in graduates, what they think we should be teaching, or new software that we should try to consider as well. And then when we have ideas, we present those to them and discuss those with them too. So having those two things, with the external advisory panel and Screen Skills Select, is quite a unique thing about our courses. Next slide, please, Pius. Now, our staff too have a lot of industrial expertise. So some of our staff used to work at the BBC, Sky, Disney and LucasArts in the past. And we also have industry professionals that come in and teach too. So that might be guest lectures or small workshops or master classes. So we've got constant engagement with industry, which obviously is great for our students because they enjoy being taught by a variety of different people, but also it gives them both a theoretical, a practical and a professional edge to what they're learning. And it may be no surprise with our industry focus that we make sure that we teach our students using industry grade equipment and software. So we're teaching you with exactly the same equipment and software that you would use when you go out in the world of employment. So you don't have to relearn all of those things already, because you've already been taught using the same software and equipment that they're using in that organization. So unsurprisingly then, we have quite high employability on our courses. So it's usually over 80% for our graduates. And that's helped by the fact that a lot of our graduates choose to do the placement year option. So they do the fixed sandwich course, which means after their second year, they go out and work in industry. Next slide, please, Pies. So there's a look at some of our resources here. So in the background, you can see some of our workstations with the Cintiq Pro touchscreens. And we have a range of both Windows and Apple Mac workshops. And we usually give our students 24/7 swipe card access to those. We've got some high-end 4K video and still cameras. We have our own photography studio. We also have a motion capture studio built around the Vicon range of products and linked into Oculus Rift as well. And we have our new extended reality studio to cover virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, and so on, so that students can experiment with those technologies. We have a sound recording studio that our students take advantage of. Of course, as you would expect, a full range of video editing workstations. We've got some 3D and holographic equipment too, and all of the software that you would come to expect from a serious course in digital media. So the full Adobe Creative Cloud, things like Cinema 4D, Maya, Unity, Nuke, and so on. Next. And the hub of our kind of equipment and resources is our post-production studio, which is custom built for us. So that is a full professional grade green screen studio. So we've got a massive green screen area. It's filled with post-production workstations. We've got the Red Epic camera that you can see in the background there, which is used on professional films. And we've got our own local high-speed fiber network so that we can transfer files really easily, and a render farm so that you're not sat there waiting for something to render on a local workstation. You can send it off to this big server farm, which is in a secret location on campus, and then it comes back once it's rendered. So students are able to work through and get their graphics work done much faster. Next, please. We also have an immersive dome. Now, if you've ever been up to the National Space Centre in Leicester, you've seen their immersive dome. So we have one which was installed by the same team. It's one of only a handful in the whole of the UK. And it's a full 360-degree immersive dome that students can interface with. So we've had our students presenting work in that and creating presentations and other interactive artifacts. So we're really lucky that we've got all this great equipment that we can play around with and that our students can use so that they can really get a massive amount of skills by the time that they've left our courses. Next, please. Now, as you'd expect, with such a range of good industry quality equipment, this has been used in professional production. So if you've seen Good Omens on PBC, then you will have seen the opening title sequence that was filmed at Brunel on our green screen. So the team came in, they worked with our students and our staff as well as their own production team and put together this title sequence. So some of our staff are actually in the title sequence. They're quite well hidden though. And we also had Ivana Lynch, who you might know as Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter. She came in for a shoot for her film last year, You Eat Other Animals. And we worked with that too. So we do usually once a year or more, we have teams that come in and use our post-production studio, and obviously that's something that we're really excited about, and we always welcome that. And the good thing is that we don't usually charge for that. but we do say, well, we want our students to get some experience from that, and our staff get involved too. So it's kind of a win-win for us. And students always enjoy that, even if they're not able to participate, because of course you can't have every single student on the course participating, but they can observe, they can see what's going on, and they can pick up at least some experience in that sense, which is great. Next, please. We also have fantastic speakers that come in and talk to our students. So you can see here Dan Perry, who is a world famous motion designer, does the title sequences for many films, such as Star Wars, a lot of Martin Scorsese films. And I mean, just Google this guy, he is incredible. And he was invited to speak at BAFTA. And then afterwards, he came to speak to our students and did a little motion graphics masterclass, which was fantastic, as you can imagine. And that was last year. Obviously, this year, with the pandemic, he wasn't able to come in physically to speak to our students, but we did a virtual session with him instead. So he was live from LA. And he did a couple of hours masterclass with our students, which was fantastic as well, because we could kind of see him in his workshop live talking to us. So that was really exciting. So we always have very interesting guest speakers. If you speak to any of our current and past students, they'll tell you that we always have loads of speakers who are coming in regularly throughout the course to speak and engage with our students, offer them opportunities, give them an insight into what it's like and what they're doing on the course, and so on. Okay, next slide, please. So moving on to our courses. So we have two. One is digital design, and the other one is visual effects and motion graphics. So starting with digital design, which is our larger course, and one which has a longer history. So on this course, we're focused on creating engaging digital products and experiences. So really trying to get you to develop your own unique design style for that, for creating interfaces, for creating unique types of interactions and innovating around that. And really, we're looking at getting you to develop that through the full process. So straight from ideating, coming up with design ideas, through to using various design techniques and tools to develop your design idea into an actual design framework, and then moving that through to an interactive digital product, whether that's a high fidelity prototype or whether that's a full-blown coded app or whatever that might be. So some of the themes that you'll find on the course are obviously user experience and experience design, but also things like motion design, mobile and web apps, mixed reality, artificial intelligence and Internet of Things. You do some 3D animation as well, and graphic design. And of course, thinking about the media aesthetics involved in that. And as well as the kind of subject content, we also teach you some professional practice and skills from first year all the way through to third year, so that you're constantly building up how qualified you are to go into work and how you deal with that. So you've got this extra edge over a lot of other students who might have had just one kind of professional practice module at the end or in the middle of their course, but we're giving you that throughout your time here, which students really tell us that they appreciate a lot. Next, please, Pius. Now, the visual effects and motion graphics course, that's our the other course. It has a lot of things in common with the digital design course, because of course there are things that both sets of students need to know, but the focus here is slightly different. So here we're looking at kind of state-of-the-art visual effects that you might see in films and commercials, TV programs, things like that. So we're looking at kind of motion graphics design for titles, We're looking at visual effects compositing. We're looking at 3D animation, but also effects animation. And of course, loads of stuff to do with CGI, character modeling, character behavior, character environments, that kind of thing. So here we're looking to take you from, again, the ideation process, but straight through to designing these and building them so that you're producing really high quality assets and artifacts that can be used in film and TV, web, games, and anywhere else. So some of the themes here are, of course, 3D, CGI, motion capture, compositing. Photography is a big theme as well as videography, 3D animation, mixed reality, and of course, again, media aesthetics. And again, getting those professional skills to carry you through. Next slide, please, Pies. So our teaching and learning approach is very student-centered. So we talk to our students a lot. They talk back to us. So often we tweak things throughout the year according to what our students would like. So they might say, "Oh, can we have a bit more of that?" Or can we cover this from a slightly different angle? That kind of thing. So we're constantly talking to our students so that we make sure that they're fully engaged on the course. So we do our best there. And of course, as I said, strong focus on the practical skills. We're very focused on portfolio building. So as you'll see when we get to the course structures in a moment, right from year one, from term one, we're already starting to help you build your portfolio, build an online presence to promote yourself so that you've got that body of work that employers really require as mandatory when you're applying for any kind of work at all. All of our courses are assessed entirely by coursework because it doesn't really make sense to have you learning all these practical things, asking you to do stuff, and then assessing you by making you take a 2-hour written exam. That doesn't really make sense to us. So everything is assessed entirely by coursework, and that gives you, again, things to put into your portfolio. Some of that coursework is what we call live briefs. So this is where you're working on something that a client would have brought to an agency. Obviously, sometimes we shape them and tweak them so that they're more manageable as a piece of coursework. But that gives you an opportunity to work on something which is effectively a real thing that you would have had to work on if you were working in that company. And of course, we put everything online, all of our teaching materials, our workshops, working files, and we use an online system as well for assignment submission. Next, please. So this is the first year of the digital design course. This is how it looks at the moment. So you can see in term one, you got a lot of foundational subject matter that we cover, and that term one is the same on the visual effects course too, as you'll see. So that enables our students to switch during term one before we start term two. If they think, "Oh, I'm on the digital design course, but I think I like the visual effects stuff more," or they're on the visual effects stuff and they want to do the digital design. So we can flip between the two easily. Once you start term two, then it's a lot more difficult to change because then you're missing the specialist subject matter. But you do have that option during term one to switch, and our offer is good for both courses. So you can see that you're covering things like graphic design, motion design, creativity. You're going to start learning how to use the cameras and take digital photographs and edit them and that kind of thing. You've got a professional module there to start you thinking about the creative industries and starting to do digital media development too, so that you pick up some basic skills that are going to be useful when you start doing, if you're on the visual effects course, you start doing scripting, which you need to do for some of the visual effects tools, or if you go on to web development as the digital design students will do. And then in term two, you're starting to focus more on the digital design content. So you've got UX design and development for the web, and also an introduction to creative technologies like IoT, AI, autonomous vehicles, and things like that, which all come together to create new environments for us to design for. And you'll see that most of these modules have their own assessments, but there are two big assessments on the left and right. You can see the digital media portfolio and the creative digital design there. So in the case of the modules, creativity and digital graphic design and introduction to motion design, they don't have their own assessments. So what we do is we prefer to give you a bigger assessment, which is this digital media portfolio, which covers all three of those modules, so that you're working on a larger piece of work, so that you have something more impressive to show rather than doing little tiny bits of work each time. And that's the same in term 2 when you do the creative digital design assessment, which covers 2 of the modules there. Let's have a look at visual effects and motion graphics year 1 now. So we have, again, that term 1, which is quite common, and the top half of term 2 is common to the digital design course as well. But then while the digital design students are focusing on the web design and the intro to creative technologies, our visual effects and motion graphics students start the foundations of 3D CGI. So they start doing characters and environments, and also acquisition for VFX, so taking assets in a VFX pipeline and working with those. Next slide, please. Now, year 2, obviously, as you might expect, the courses start to become even more specific. So you can see there is a mobile and web apps module there with a focus on Internet of Things, because that's what is connecting everything at the moment. So looking at not just smartphones, but also, you know, apps for things like fridges and TVs and everywhere else that you might find IoT, wearables, smart watches and stuff like that. There is a module on experimental digital futures, which is looking at designing not for products now, but maybe 10 years from now. So looking at what emerging technologies are coming out and where designers might be needed in the future to design for those future products and services. So that gives you an edge when you're applying for jobs, because you've already kind of designed things for those products by the time you graduate. There is an applied media aesthetics course, which is common to both, which is going to teach you all about the aesthetic characteristics of media and how you can use that when you're filming, creating posters and other digital artifacts. There is a module on designing for virtual reality and augmented reality and mixed reality. So that's our immersive design module, which covers both the technical aspects of that, using some of the digital tools and the design theory behind that too. There's a motion graphics application module to cover cinema, 4D, and other types of motion graphics. Digital design students do a 3D design module as well, so they get some 3D graphics experience, which then extends into 3D animation in term 2. And there is another professional module on design practice, thinking about kind of full-blown design projects, managing those to deliver creative assets. Next, please, Pius. Visual effects, a little bit different, but with some common modules too. So a big chunk of the second year for VFX and motion graphics is this visual effects compositing and the advanced 3D CGI modules. They feed into this VFX portfolio so that you're doing a large amount of VFX work. It's very difficult with visual effects to isolate skills and just have a little assessment on that. It's better when they're put together and you create something that's a bit wow, that you can show employers, but still doing the applied media aesthetics and so on. But there is a bit more motion graphics in the visual effects courses you might expect. So there's a motion graphics design module in there, and a programming for the moving image module, which replaces the design practice one on the visual effects course. So that's taking some of the scripting currently in Python, so that helps you using those visual effects tools to kind of automate some of the process. Next, please. In year 3, things converge. So you've got the major project, which all our students do, and that takes up half of your credits for the year. That's something our students always enjoy doing. It's quite an important module, and allows our students to specialize. And then there is a work in digital creative industries module, and we also give you options. So you can see there's options to do experience design, to do more 3D animation, to do more digital graphics work and motion design, and to do some creative technology design as well. Next, please. We culminate that with our shows. So we have a physical show where students present their work. We have awards, we have employers coming in. It's a great experience. This year we also had a virtual show, which you can see at the top there. And we also get our students to exhibit, usually at New Designers, which obviously didn't take place in its normal form this year. So we're very keen on getting students to pitch their work and present that. Next, please. Now there is a show reel, but I'll put the link to that in the chat. This is what our students produce every year to showcase their work. It's really exciting to watch, and if you watch that when I put it in the chat, that will give you a good idea of what you'll be able to do by the time you finish the course. Next, please. These are some examples of employers that our students have gone to work for in the past. So ILM, Double Negative for the visual effects students, big design agencies like Mindcore and Fjord. Jaguar have taken our design students in the past. Canon usually take a few each year as well. So a big range of employers that take our students, and you'll find our students everywhere. It's quite nice that we always seem to bump into past graduates of ours. Next, please. Some of our students also go and set up their own companies. They don't want to necessarily be an employer, an employee. They want to be an employer rather. So Paul and David went off and founded Mediatonic. If you have a look at theirs, they've been nominated for a BAFTA. They've made Harry Potter games. They had recently the PC Builder game, which was very well reviewed. So they're doing great things. Very proud of them. AJ, who co-founded Nodachi, which is a video production company. He's worked on X Factor. He had a contract with EE for many years. He does a lot of work with airlines and various different agencies too. And all of these come back in to speak to our students and engage with them. Next, please. Jeff Lee was one of our past design students, and now he's head of design at Xiaomi in the UK when they launched here. He helped that happen, so he was involved with the flagship store that you can see there, which if you've been to Westfield, you'll see that big store there, and he was involved with that. And of course the Chacon brothers, who pretty much everyone knows in the digital design world. They're currently helping HSBC with their the banking experience and apps and things for that. So we're really proud of them. And they've done so much work to help our students. We actually made them honorary graduates recently as well. So the last slide, please, Pius. So these are our entry requirements, if that interests you. So we're looking for 3 Bs at A-level. If you're doing a BTEC, then we're looking for DDD. Any subject is fine. What we're really interested in is that you have a passion and a really strong interest in digital technology and creative design. So you've got a creative streak inside you, and you're looking to realize that through the use of technology. We do have some GCSE requirements, which are fairly common across all the courses in the university. We normally ask for maths, but if you don't have maths and you have another technical subject, then that's fine too. And we do ask for a creative portfolio. So we're looking for examples of some creative work that you've done, so that we can work with those. Okay, I hope that's given you a good insight. If you've got any questions, I'll answer them from the chat. Do we have any time to answer one now, Pius?
Yeah, well, let's go a couple. We'll have 2 questions here. The first one, would you recommend students to have a graphic tablet? Is that something you'd recommend for the course?
It's something that a couple of our students have, but it's not a massive requirement for the course because we do have the Cintiq Pros, which are these big interactive screens with the pens and everything else. So we do have that stuff, that kind of stuff for you to use on campus. I think you would have seen on one of the slides there, one of our students using that near the start. So it's not a must at all. It's just like a nice thing to have if you're doing that kind of work more. Yeah.
Thank you. And can you talk about the distinction between digital marketing and digital media? What's the difference between the two?
Right. Yes. We're not a marketing course, so we do cover things like branding, but only in the sense of where that interacts with having artifacts that are used for marketing. So we look at branding experiences, which might be created through things like virtual reality or web platforms or things like that. But we're not a marketing course as such. So if you're more interested in marketing theory and how to tap into customers and things like that, you should do a marketing course. If you're interested in creating kind of interactive, engaging ways to grab customers and make them interested and build up loyalty and things like that, then our course would be more up your street.
Thank you very much, Harry. I think that's all we have time for.
Okay,
But if you
great.
do have any more questions for Harry, please pop into the live feed chat whereby you can ask Harry a few more questions.
Yes,
Thank you very
I'll
much,
be
Harry.
here for the rest of the day. Thank you, Pius, and nice to talk to you all. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.